All right, FNAF fans, let's talk about one of the biggest, saddest mysteries in the entire series, the crying child. We all know how he died, sure, but what really went down after the fact? That's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to piece this whole thing together.
And to even start to unpack this, we gotta ask a really weird question. It's a question that's kind of the key to this whole thing. What happens when a ghost breaks? See, in the super messed up world of Fazbear Entertainment, death is almost never the end of the story. And for the crying child, man, it was just the beginning. So to figure out what happened next, we need to rewind. Let's go all the way back to 1983 to where his nightmare really kicks off.
Okay, so before we get into all the ghost stuff, we really have to get to know the kid himself. His entire life was just fear, and that fear was used against him, constantly, by his older brother, Michael Afton.
I mean, check this out. The week before his own birthday party was just a total nightmare. His brother Michael was relentless. He'd lock him in his room, then he'd jump out from behind the TV wearing that terrifying Foxy mask. He even cornered him at the diner with his buddies. Every single day was worse than the last, building up to this party that the kid was absolutely terrified of.
And yeah, that party, that's where it all came to a head. That's where we get the one, the only, the bite of 83. This one moment, this single event, would totally change the Afton family forever and pretty much set the stage for the entire FNAF story. So Michael and his friends, they thought it would be a hilarious prank to, and I quote, give the little man a big kiss from Fredbear. Just awful. They pick up this poor kid who's crying his eyes out, and they shove his head right into the animatronic's mouth. And the leading theory here, it's just so tragic, is that his own tears, just that little bit of moisture, made the super sensitive spring locks fail. And the result? It was instant, it was horrible. The jaw just slammed shut, crushing his skull. So now, picture this. The crying child is in a hospital bed, fading away, and he hears a voice, a promise. And guys, these next words, they are everything. They're the absolute key to this entire mystery. And this voice, which we think is coming from his little Fredbear plushie, says, "You're broken. I will put you back together." I mean, come on, that has to be one of the most famous and most mysterious lines in the entire franchise. But what does that even mean? Like, for real, how do you put a person, never mind a ghost, back together? This promise, right here, this is the thread we have to pull. Okay, so to crack this, we can't just stick to the games. We gotta look bigger. The FNAF story, it's been told in a few different ways. You've got the novels, you've got the movie, and these different versions, they give us some amazing clues about the stuff the games kind of leave hanging.
And here's where it gets really interesting. You start to see the same kind of character pop up everywhere. In the games, obviously, we have our crying child. But then you look at the novels, and there's this kid in a striped shirt, and his soul is literally described as being in pieces, like faded little fragments that need to be put together to be whole again. Then, jump over to the movie. Mike's little brother Garrett, his ghost isn't stuck in a robot. Nope, he's tied to the Freddy's building itself.
So let's break that down. The novels give us a perfect visual for what putting his soul back together might actually look like. And the movie? It straight up tells us a ghost can haunt a place, not just an animatronic. Put them together, and it really hints that the crying child's fate is way more complicated than him just possessing Golden Freddy or something. It's something else entirely. Right, but for any of this to click, we need to do a quick dive into the rules of ghosts in this world. We need to get into the science of souls in FNAF. Okay, first up, the basics. A soul. It's pretty much what you think it is, right? It's the spirit of a person after they die. And in this universe, they can possess things, like how William Afton is stuck inside Springtrap. They have their memories, they know who they are. Simple enough. But then you have Remnant, and this is where things get super weird and kind of sci-fi. Remnant is an actual physical substance that you can pull out of a haunted piece of metal. Just think of it as liquid ghost. It's the haunting made real. It's a chunk of a soul, a memory, that you can literally bottle up and inject into other animatronics. The books give us this great analogy, the pie analogy, and it explains it perfectly. So imagine a soul is a whole pie. When you extract remnant, it's like you're just taking one slice. The rest of the pie is still there, right? But it's missing a piece. And that slice, it tastes like the pie, it is the pie, but it's not the whole pie.
And this is the most important part. This means one soul can be broken up and exist in more than one place at the same time.
Okay, so now we've got all our clues laid out on the table. We have the super traumatic death. We have that weird promise, I will put you back together. We've got hints from the books and the movie about souls being in pieces, and we even have an in-universe science for how a soul can be shattered. I think it's time we put it all together. So let's go back to the big question. After his heart stopped, after he heard that promise, what really happened to the crying child's soul? This is the theory of the shattered soul. The idea is that the trauma from the bite of 83 was so intense, it didn't just kill him, it literally shattered his spirit. So his soul didn't just go into one animatronic. Instead, it broke apart into all these little pieces, kind of like Remnant, and got scattered across all the Freddy's locations that he was so terrified of. And these little fragments, they don't have a full consciousness, which would explain perfectly why in the logbook the spirit is confused, can't see, can't remember. He's not Golden Freddy, he's a fractured ghost. And that promise to put him back together? It wasn't a metaphor. It was a literal promise to try and fix a broken soul. When you look at it that way, his story isn't a simple ghost story about revenge. It's way sadder. It's a tragedy about a broken kid whose ghost is just as broken, scattered in pieces across the very place that gave him nothing but nightmares. And that leaves us with one last, really chilling question, doesn't it? If a soul can be shattered into pieces, scattered like that, can it ever really be fixed? Can a ghost like that ever truly be set free? In the world of FNAF, that might just be the biggest mystery there is.